What's it like? Now that you're here, you're doing it, here's the set. What's it like?
What's it like? It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. Well, I mean, the thing is, I'm playing a 17-year-old body with a 40-year-old mind, okay? But then I had to play with my conception of 40, which was sort of older, right? You look at a 40-year-old and go, you're old, you know, but he's not. I mean, Robert Urich, I was watching him, he's a bouncy guy, you know, and so...
Hollywood may have finally been exposed doing what it does best, shielding someone it once quietly tried to disappear. For decades, Keanu Reeves was marketed as untouchable, the humble icon, the incorruptible outsider in worn boots and quiet smiles. But behind that myth, a very different story has started circulating inside studio back channels this week. According to leaked internal documents and long-buried correspondence, Reeves wasn't just taking time off in the late 90s. Insiders allege he was subtly sidelined after refusing Speed 2, choosing an obscure stage production in Winnipeg instead of playing along. That decision reportedly didn't sit well with Fox executives, who, sources claim, flagged him as unreliable and quietly discouraged other studios from engaging him. The paper trail is unsettling. Scrap contracts, meetings erased from calendars, and one internal note from 1997.
Was it fun to do that? I'm guessing you spent a great deal of time on the bus.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Just about 6 weeks.
6 weeks on the bus?
On the bus.
Yeah.
Going round and round in circles, but it was cool. I mean, we would drive through the streets and smash into cars and...
Were you actually on the bus when it ran into stuff?
Yeah,
or...
we did a couple of times.
That's not a good idea, is it?
It was weird.
Cold, bureaucratic, and damning, labeling him non-cooperative talent. That same year marked a devastating personal turning point. River Phoenix was already gone. Soon after came the loss of Jennifer Syme and their unborn child. Almost overnight, Reeves vanished from major casting lists. Yet, the people who crossed paths with him during that period remember something else entirely. A man taking small roles for no money, financing projects he believed in, buying motorcycles for friends and crew, turning grief into quiet generosity instead of bitterness. Not a fallen star, a working one, choosing dignity over obedience. None of this fits the sanitized Hollywood narrative that kept rolling while Reeves later anchored billion-dollar franchises. And all the while, he never told his side. No expose, no lawsuits, no bitterness, just silence. Now, with alleged blacklist evidence circulating through inboxes, forums, and industry whispers, the real tension isn't about what Keanu Reeves endured.
One day you decided you wanted to be that kind of person.
You know, I think it's just in my nature. You know, I had good parents. Yeah.
It's about who's nervous now that the man known for forgiveness might finally stop offering it. The response to the leaked blacklist documents hasn't felt frantic. It's felt calculated. After those alleged Fox internal notes began circulating, the reaction inside Hollywood wasn't public outrage or legal threats. It was quiet retreat. Within a single afternoon, multiple producers reportedly began scrubbing their past associations. Old photos vanished. Planned retrospectives were abruptly shelved. Credits once proudly featuring Keanu Reeves were suddenly revised. One studio insider, speaking anonymously, claims the directive came without emails or memos. Everything was verbal, leave no record. Just a coordinated wave of courteous distancing rippling through executive offices from lot to lot. The public-facing explanations were bland and interchangeable.
You know, when you start out, you just, especially whenever you start out in something, you have hopes and you have dreams. For me, it was just getting the chance to act and I knew I wanted to make movies, and I knew I wanted to go to Hollywood to be in films. You know, I think because I grew up in Canada and Toronto, those were the movies I saw. You know, and I wanted to be telling those stories and to be making those movies, and so...
Scheduling conflicts, creative shifts, mutual admiration, language so polished it sounded pre-approved. But people who were around in the mid-90s remember a different moment. In 1995, fresh off the success of Speed, Reeves was allegedly presented with what insiders now refer to as a career-locking offer, the kind that cements obedience as much as stardom. He declined it. Instead of chasing sequels and studio leverage, he chose a modest stage production of Hamlet in Winnipeg. Millions in projected revenue disappeared overnight. According to long-standing industry lore, one executive reportedly scoffed at the decision, muttering that if Reeves wanted to play philosopher, he could live like one too. What followed wasn't a public punishment. There were no headlines, no scandals, just a gradual freeze. Calls unanswered, roles quietly reassigned, projects moving forward without explanation, a professional vanishing that looked voluntary from the outside. Fast forward to now, and those same power players speak of Reeves with reverence, a living legend, an icon of integrity. The contrast is jarring. Praise layered over a history that suddenly feels incomplete. And here's where the story turns unsettling. If this alleged blacklist truly dissolved decades ago, why are people still erasing traces of their involvement today? Why does a relic of the past still carry enough weight to make executives rewrite their own timelines overnight? That silence doesn't sound like closure. It sounds like something unfinished. What comes next isn't sentimentality. It's recognizing a repeating pattern. The very apparatus that once sidelined him now market.
Our next guest has made 16 motion pictures in about 8 years, including such diverse works as Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Dangerous Liaisons. His latest motion picture, Speed, opens across the country today. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Keanu Reeves. Keanu!
Now,
Hollywood's moral compass. And people inside the system are quietly questioning the timing. From the late 90s into the early 2000s, Reeves' presence reportedly thinned out across Fox and its partner studios. Casting momentum stalled. Familiar doors stopped opening. That stretch also coincided with the most devastating losses of his life. River Phoenix died young. Jennifer Syme was killed in a crash on Cahuenga. Their child never made it into the world. His sister's illness stretched on for years. Tragedy layered on tragedy until it became the defining backdrop of his public silence. Crew members who worked with him during The Matrix recall moments that didn't fit the polished mythology. One technician from the Sydney shoot remembers Reeves showing up during the week of Syme's funeral. Withdrawn, barely verbal, repeating takes with an intensity that felt less like professionalism and more like penance. No theatrics, just endurance. That same year, he famously bought Harley-Davidsons for the stunt team. At the time, it was framed as generosity, another data point in the good man narrative. Seen through a different lens now, some interpret it as something more complicated. Grief externalized into ritual, loss converted into motion. Those close to Reeves have long maintained that sorrow sharpened his focus, forged his work ethic, kept him grounded. Others, speaking more cautiously,